Coming up next, I'll tell you how to search for a job as the economy reopens, and I'll tell you what doesn't pay well but ages well. We'll take your calls and your chats, and it all starts right now. I'm coming to you live from Ramsey Studios in Nashville, and you're joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do that, and how you're going to get there. It's all about you, because you were created to fill a unique role in your work. You were created to contribute. So that means that, one, you're very valuable, and two, there's a responsibility on you to actually be you. Somebody out there needs you to show up today. Even if you're not there in the dream job, you got to show up today in the now so that the next that you desire becomes a reality. 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577. The economy is slowly reopening. Your opportunities are out there. It's going to be tough. Might take a little longer than you wanted, but I'm telling you, you can get there. And the Ken Coleman Show is going to be there with you along the way. 844-747-2577, the number. Go ahead and get your chat questions in now so that they can get them to me here on the laptop, and we'll get to those momentarily. So what are some things that you can do right now as you begin the process of job hunting? Or maybe you're already in the process of job hunting and you want to up your game. As you know, I love to start off the show with relevant news content or articles that I find to be helpful for you. And Jack Kelly at Forbes did a nice job. Going to go through a few things here real quick. Number one, start doing something, anything. Just take some action. Number two, what is an action item that'll get you some momentum? The tiniest of steps could be just coming up with a plan of action. A plan of action. Well, what does that mean? Well, it could be anything from updating your LinkedIn, making some connections, not just on social media or LinkedIn, but also via email. Make some phone calls. Hey, set up some Zoom calls or some FaceTime calls and make some connections. Come up with a plan. Who do you want to reach out to? Where do you want to reach out to them? Why? What is some research you can do about maybe some places that you want to be? All of those things create some inertia, a forward-facing momentum. Steel yourself. Know that this is going to be a tough process. 30+ million people out there looking for jobs. A lot of jobs have contracted. Maybe jobs are going to come back pretty forcefully, but maybe they take a while to come back. So it's going to be difficult. That's number three. Number four, make sure that you focus on taking care of yourself. You know, I talk over and over and over about what do you think about? Your mental diet. Because your mental diet, what you consume, what you allow to stay in your head, affects your emotional health, and that affects your physical health. Number five, be honest about your weak spots. Play to your strengths. When you're looking for something, play to your strengths. You know, be honest about your weaknesses for the purpose of not feeling bad about yourself or telling everybody what you're weak at, but just so that you can focus on what you're strong at doing. And then finally, look for meaning. I love that he referenced that. I'm telling you, I love when I see journalists talk about meaning at work. You know, not a lot of journalists and not a lot of mainstream people talk about meaning in work. It's something we all know that we want, but there's still a security mindset about work as opposed to, sure, work and the pay that comes as a result of my work makes me secure in that I'm able to provide. But even that fades. Look for meaning. Look to use what you do best, your talent, to do what you love to do most, passion, to produce results that matter most to you, mission. Where those three come together is the sweet spot. It'll let you begin to see things in the marketplace that you never saw before. It tells you where you want to go, and you have great confirmation and confidence of why you want to be there. 844-747-2577 is the number, 844-747-2577. 877-7777. Let's get to the phones. Holly joins us in Austin, Texas. Holly, you're on the Ken Coleman Show. Hello, Holly.
Hi there. Trying to get all the Bluetooth and everything off so I can actually talk to you.
Well, fantastic. I'm glad you're here. How can we help?
So, $14,000 in debt, working the Dave Ramsey program on that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I am trying to figure out my dream job or my sweet spot, and I'm struggling with that. I did over 18 years in healthcare billing, medical billing type stuff. I have a degree in healthcare and health information technology, but I was, basically the best way to put it, I wasn't healed. And I've gone through 5 years of working on myself and healing from past traumas and letting things go and just being the best version of myself. And the whole time I've been trying to get back into wellness, but I need to make the money that I was making in healthcare with all the debt that I have and to be financially okay because I'm alone. And so I went and took a spa manager position because I went to school to become a holistic health coach for the wellness part and being a manager, and didn't get to health coach at all the whole 3.5 years. So I left there and I went to a wellness resort, and I was like, this is so aligned with who I am and everything about what it was standing for, but the job itself was not. And it was very stressful, no work-life balance, and I got overwhelmed really quick. Left there. And now the pandemic hit. And I'm out here doing delivery jobs basically 7 days a week, making way more than I made in a regular job.
Really?
But I'm working. Yes, I really am. Well, especially right now. And I'm doing like 3 or 4 different delivery services at one time. Hard worker, obviously.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. I just need some guidance. I don't really know people don't believe in health coaches. I don't know.
Well, hold on. Let's just, first of all, I want you to take a deep breath. And I mean literally take a deep breath. Take a deep breath right now. Because you've been through a lot, and you're so brave and courageous to share. Now, you broke up, and so I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but the audience is listening, and I'm listening. I'm going, what was the pain? Was it divorce? Because we didn't hear that part. What was the thing that caused you all this pain?
A couple of sexual traumas, and then about a year ago, memories came up of being abused as a child as well. And raising a transgender suicidal child for many years. A lot of stress, many years of chronic stress.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Now, are you seen or have you seen a professional counselor to deal with all this trauma?
I did years ago to help with raising my child because that was really difficult, but I didn't really work on myself. So I basically started chipping away at that, and I feel amazing, and I'm helping other people every chance I can.
Awesome. Well, Holly, you're amazing. Let me just say that. So a couple things to encourage you on. Number one, you're making more money now in this COVID crisis. You're like a hero, a heroine. Let's use the right term. Hello. You are making more money. So if you start to feel physically exhausted because you're just working so much, I'd dial back on one of those things. And I'll tell you why. If you can somehow dial back a little bit and still make enough money, I think just for a couple more months, or if you can keep it up, keep going and sock some money away. I think you've got 2 options here. I'll tell you why. I think you do know what you want to do. And you started off the phone call going, I don't know what I'm passionate about. But as I heard you recount your story for me, I think you would have loved to work at the wellness resort or something else like that, except that you were in a negative culture and you're a person who's gone through so much trauma. Emotional trauma, that if you're in an unhealthy place, you're super sensitive to it. Am I right?
Very. Yes, and I'm an empath as well, if you understand that.
I've got a child who has a peanut allergy, okay? And because of that, but he's okay. But the point is that he's super sensitive. Like, he can smell any kind of nut in any place well before we do. You know what I mean? So because he's been affected by it. And I think it's the same thing for you. And so you got in a really rough culture or toxic environment. You went, I can't deal with this. Yeah, I've dealt with so much other pain and processed it and come out on the other side that I'm no longer going to be victim of pain that I don't have to put up with. And I think that's the situation. Now, if I'm right about that, and you're saying exactly, my question is, if I could snap my fingers right now and put you in the wellness industry. I'm going to make it really broad for a moment, okay? Whether it's a wellness coach or it's working in the wellness industry. Let's take some of those previous things you've done. And you were in a healthy environment and you were free to just be you and do the work that you love, and you were supported by your leadership and you felt safe with your teammates, would you be calling me right now?
No.
Yeah. So I think you do know what you want to do. Say it. Just say it right now. What would you love to do? Starting tomorrow.
I want to help people heal from their traumas and help guide them through the things that I've gone through so that they can live their best life.
Okay, so where do you do that? What would be a dream scenario? Give me a couple places in the marketplace or a couple real places where you would help that. Where? That's
what I've struggled with.
Well, I don't know why you're struggling. I don't
weight
think
loss places.
Okay, good.
I lost weight as well.
Okay.
I've looked into corporate wellness because I know how unhealthy I was and the other healthcare workers were when I worked in healthcare.
Right. But see, you've just identified two places.
I don't want to be in.
Right, but my point is you've just identified a couple specific industries, if you will, within the wellness industry. So, Holly, I wouldn't overthink this. Do you want to, when you were in the spa place, what were you doing? What was your day-to-day activity?
It was a cryotherapy pain management place, and I loved what I did because I was building rapport with the customers and getting to know them and actually helping take away their pain and improve their quality of life. So even if I worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, I went home feeling great every day because I knew I helped people.
Yes. You know why you felt great?
They told me all the time.
Yeah, and you saw yourself as a person who helped alleviate their pain. And as someone who has experienced tremendous pain, you don't want to experience it, but you sure as heck don't want anybody else to experience it. When you see yourself being the resource, the person who helps alleviate even physical pain, it gives you the juice.
Exactly. I do Reiki as well, and that helps take people's pain away. So everything seems to be related to healing pain, healing the body.
Holly, you're not confused?
I am.
No, you're not.
There's no title.
Who cares?
I don't know what to look for when I job search.
Well, you're missing. Yes, you do. You just said it. You gave us a wonderful purpose sentence about a minute ago. And you said it. You said, I want to basically help people alleviate their pain. So stop overthinking it and start looking at multiple places that do that in the marketplace in Austin, Texas. So go from everything from physical pain to emotional pain. Now, I'm going to tell you this. You getting qualified is going to be easier and faster and cheaper to do it in the physical area, especially if you look at spas and some of these other techniques, than it would be to do counseling. That's a longer journey and a more expensive journey. But Holly,
I have plenty of student loan debt.
Exactly. So you can't do that. Holly, I'm going to set you free. You don't need me as a crutch. I'm glad you called, but you don't need me to come up with ideas. You've come up with plenty of ideas. And you just said something that is really huge. I don't know the title. So you're too busy worried about a title instead of, so you're going, I don't know what title to search for online. No, go to the places in Austin, Texas that are healing people. Go to the spas, the therapy places, the physical therapy places, all those things. And get in. And even if it's an hourly job like you had before, I literally would look for things that you just described that you did before, but in a healthy environment. That'll get you financially stable and allow you to save money. And if you need to step up a bit, then you can cash flow your way through the qualification process. So you're right there. Blairsville, Georgia is where we go next. Dawn joins us. Dawn, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken, thank you so much for taking my call. I just love everything you're doing to help people find their fit, their sweet spot.
Thank you.
So my question is, I'm currently a marketing and PR director for a local real estate company, but with the coronavirus and the economic downturn, my salary as well as my hours have been cut by 25%. But I've really been wanting to start my own marketing and PR company.
Okay.
And I used to work for the Chamber of Commerce before I was where I am now, and I loved that. So I have a lot of connections in the community.
Good.
So what I'm thinking is a way that maybe I could kind of get started with this is I reached out to the local radio station owner and pitched an idea to do like a 1 hour a week show where I would come on and interview different women in business, because that's my passion, is to really promote local business in the community, and really help them kind of stay afloat, especially during this downturn that we're in and probably, I guess, going to be in for a little while.
Yeah.
Anyways, the station manager wrote back. He said he's super excited about the opportunity, but he would like for me to get a sponsor for the show. And the sponsorship amount is $500 a month. So my question is, how do I go about approaching a business to sponsor something for $500 a month when everybody is on such a lockdown with their marketing budgets at this point in time?
Well, everybody's not. So let's start with that premise. A lot of people are, but not everybody.
Okay.
I mean, let's be honest, Dawn. Aren't there a lot of companies that are thriving in this time?
Yes, I suppose there are.
Yeah, think about it, right?
Yes.
So I can tell you this: pizza companies are rocking.
Okay.
So I'm just giving you an idea. And see, here's the thing: you're very connected. So let me tell you how to do it. Now that we've fixed your mindset, your mindset was wrong. You just need to focus on what are the industries that are doing well right now. Okay.
Okay. Excellent.
Second question is a $500 a lot? $500 a month, is it a lot for a company that's doing well right now? No, that's peanuts.
No.
So here's how you get it. You lay out their touch points. So if they sponsor Dawn's show for $500 a month, here is what they get. Here are the touch points, right? So you lay out, I'm doing a 1 hour show every weekend. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so they get, so you tell them, all right, so it's a 4 hour block. And and so that's what you're starting with. And you're going to have to talk to the local radio guy, but you can tell him you called my show and I started out on local radio, because I did, on WDUN in Gainesville, Georgia. And and I paid my way on. Okay. And so what you would do is they may give you a 30-second ad or a 60-second spot that runs one time, maybe two times, I don't know, during the hour. And so it would be a spot for your sponsor company. The other thing I would do is when you're on the air, Dawn, talking like I am right now, I can pivot to anything I want to right now. I don't have to have a commercial time to do it. I could do what they call live read. And so you could offer some special promotions so they get their ad, and then maybe you do one live read an hour. And so you're talking about their program.
Wow,
and so you're doing a special promotion, and the code is Dawn, okay? Whatever the situation is, okay?
Sure.
All right, so I've just come up with 2 pieces of inventory they get for their brand to promote. Okay. Now you need to ask the radio station folks, will you put something on your website? Can I do 3 to 4 or 2 written pieces for your website that are tied to my show? And then you have a mention and a link in your article. You're a marketing PR person. You start creating inventory. Okay.
Yes.
And you take to them 5, if you can, 4 to 5 touch points, mentions, promotions, whatever you want to call it, that sponsor would get every week. Okay. So if I've got 5 every week, and I'm making this up, you understand?
I know.
then they're going to get 20 touch points over the course of a month.
Sure.
And then you're asking for $500 for that. So you want to build to where they go, well, that's a lot of nice natural push. And I like that. That's worth $500 to get behind on. You know what I'm saying? So that's where you start. You create a 1 page and keep it to 1 page. It's almost like going to a lunch restaurant and they give you a 1-page menu and you know what's on the menu. You got to create a menu for a potential sponsor. Now, the other thing I want to tell you,
that's excellent.
You need to have the radio station, and they'll do this for you. They're recording anyway. You need to have them record your show and send you the audio file, and you need to podcast that on your own, any platform you want, iTunes, wherever. And now you've got 2 programs on one thing. So you're putting out on the air on local radio, but then you've got a podcast that you're putting out. And to the extent that they've got any video cameras in the room, or you set up an iPhone and I'd record your radio program if you can get the audio for that, and I'd put that out on YouTube. Now you got 3 programs for the price of 1. That's how you get going, Dawn. 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577. Let's also give Dawn a copy of my best-selling book, The Proximity Principle, if she doesn't have it. Right now, we've got an incredible deal for the month of May. It's what they're telling me. It's going to be May only. We'll see. The best-selling book, The Proximity Principle, and this is the proven path to the career you love. $10 hard copy. Ebook is $8. Audiobook, $3.99. That's less than Amazon. So go get that, kencoleman.com. And if you're new to the program, what is the proximity principle? It is the success principle, whether you're a career starter, career switcher, or career advancer. It'll stay with you your whole career. It says, in order to do what I want to do, or we could say, in order to be what I want to be, I've got to be around people that are doing what I want to do, or they've become what I want to become. And I need to be in places where that work is happening, in places where I might get the opportunity to meet the right people. That's the proximity principle. In order to do what you want to do, you got to be around people that are doing it and in places where it is happening. And the book has 5 archetypes of people, 5 archetype places, and then there's practices in the last section of the book that will absolutely guide you step by step to where you want to be. Go get it right now, kencoleman.com. Unbelievable pricing. All right, let's go to the chat room. Guido writes in, my boss canceled my salary because I didn't want to travel across the country with public transportation to work in a shopping mall, doing work I never had done before while being sick. Your opinion? Well, I'm sorry, number one, that you've lost your job. I understand that you had some real concerns there that you've outlined. But I don't know enough to bash your boss. I don't know if your boss was in a tough situation. It's like, hey, I got to do things I don't like to do. I got to do things I'm scared of. I just don't know enough. So I'm really sorry. You made your decision. You were sick. I get that. So assuming if it was COVID, I totally understand it. If it was something else, I get it. I wish you hadn't been let go. Now, this is assuming I don't know all of the things, okay? But it's time for you to start over. And so get your mindset in the right place. You feel wronged. It's very obvious that you probably were wronged in multiple ways, but that's life. It stinks. Desperate times, maybe it was a desperate measure. I don't know, but you've got to move on. And so deal with the pain and the disappointment and feeling, betrayed or whatever you're feeling. Own that, and then realize this is the best thing that could ever happen to you if you were in a toxic situation with a leader anyway. And so let's move forward. Heath writes in, what is the best way to follow up after an interview when you haven't heard back from your potential employer? The first thing you need to do is go to kencoleman.com, and one of our Get Hired guides, of the 3 free Get Hired guides, one is the Touchpoint Timeline. Go download it. We have an actual timeline. It tells you what to do. So go get that. Let's keep rolling. Owen, how do I stay motivated on my side business when my full-time job takes up to 60 hours a week or more? I'm always exhausted at the end of the day. Couple things here. Do you have to work 60 hours a week? Is that mandated? Or do you just feel some pressure, whether it be from somewhere else or self-induced pressure to work those kind of hours? If you have to work those kind of hours to stay employed, how long will you have to keep up that kind of schedule? So if you can get some type of forward calendar going, okay, I can put up with it for another month. I can do it. When we see the light at the end of the tunnel, we can put up with more. And so then that becomes a short term, I'm going to bite the stick and get through it. If there is no end to this, then you've got to really reassess some things. And the side business clearly matters deeply to you. So you're going to have to make some sacrifices somewhere else in order to be able to build the side hustle. So if you have to press pause on a side hustle for a while until you can figure out the 60-hour a week workload, then that's okay. Then you come back to it. But if there is no end in sight, we got to make adjustments on the 60 hours a week. And we're going to replace that. We got to bet on ourselves. So save up some money. And if we feel like, okay, if I dial back from 60 to 40 hours in the day job, how many hours could I give to the dream job, the side hustle? You got to bet on yourself, but you got to plan for that. Calculated risk is what we call that. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577. We're going to get back to the phones. I just want to mention real quick, we are winning here on YouTube. Even in the coronavirus crisis, our numbers are up, viewers are up, and that's a wonderful thing in the sense of people are flocking to the message of, I want to work on purpose. I don't want to get to the end of my life and just look at 90,000 plus hours, which is what the average person will spend at work in their lifetime, and see no connection to my heart to that work. I want to be in my sweet spot. I want to look forward to Monday mornings. I don't want to just live for the weekend. So that's great. And so we need your help. Like today's episode. If you're new to the program, hit that thumbs up button below the video window just down there, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and then click on share and share to social media, share by email to a friend that you think needs this message. Those three things will continue to help us grow. Would you please consider doing that? So very grateful. All right. I led off today's show by telling you I was going to tell you what doesn't pay well, but it ages well. Here's another way of saying that. Here's the one thing that you're going to have to do for free to be able to live the dream. There's no way around it. On some level, all of us in our journey to the dream job will have to do this thing for free a lot of times. Now, the good news is when we do this over and over and over again, and we're not getting paid for it, it is positioning us well to be paid very well, which is why I said it doesn't pay well, but it ages well. What is that one thing? Practice. Practice. The key to getting really, really good and flirting with greatness is practice. Practice. Now, this isn't something that's just for the people that are crafting something with their hands or fixing something with their hands, or someone creating content or creating art. This is in any position. If you are looking at switching, so I'm here and I want to go here. So let's just take, for example, Dawn called it earlier. She loves marketing and PR. You know, at some point before Dawn jumped into that industry, she had a pretty good idea. Hey, I want to do marketing and I want to do PR. So how would you practice? While you're in school or while you're training or getting qualified and making connections, how can you practice your craft? So for somebody who wants to get into coding, how would you practice coding? Practice. You're not going to get paid to practice. Every once in a while, you'll get an internship or something like that. And that's nice. And maybe it's a paid internship. But I'm talking about even if you are just on your own, these are the type of things that make you great. Make you great. Do you get in early? Do you practice writing? Do you practice selling somebody? Do you practice speeches? Do you practice your art? See, this is when no one's looking and no one wants it, but you're just putting in the time. Cuts at the plate. Standing there in the batting cage and letting that machine spit balls at you one after another. One after another. Here they come. Well, after I swing, I got about a second. Boom, here comes the next one. And I'm going to work on everything. Every aspect of hitting the ball. How I hold the bat. What's my balance and my stance look like? Where are my hands? Paying attention to which way the ball flies off the bat. Why is it doing that? Anticipating the speed of the pitch. That's just one example. There are so many facets to your craft. So whatever your craft is, I want you to think about what are the facets of the craft or the craft that I want to get in. What are the facets, all the different elements that I need to be good at and strive to be great at so that I can be the best that I can be. Practice. See, everybody wants to show up and perform. Everybody wants to play. But the greats want to practice. Average people gripe about practice. Great people crave practice. Get into a mindset and into a discipline of practicing. It's a game changer. Why? Because relentless preparation leads to reflexive performance. You know, we all want to perform, but how do we overcome the nerves and anxiety that come with any type of performance? By practicing so much that it becomes 100% reflexive. Relentless preparation, relentless practicing leads to reflexive performance. Mind memory, muscle memory. It only is achieved when you commit to methodical, maniacal practice. It's a game changer. Learn to embrace it. And then the pay will take care of itself. 844-747-2577 is the number. 844-747-2577 is the number to jump in. Let's go to Danica in East Lansing, Michigan. Danica, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken.
Hi.
I've been reading your proximity principle book.
Okay. Thank you.
I really liked it so far. I'm still in the people section.
Oh, fun.
And I'm trying to find producers, I guess.
Yes.
Thankfully, I still have my job. I'm a PhD at MSU.
Okay. In what field?
In math.
I'm very jealous of you. Yeah. I should admit that right now. You're talking to a guy who dropped college algebra 6 times. So there you go. I would have I needed to find you on campus to help me. I would have needed the tutoring. How can I help you today? It is not going to be with a math problem. I promise you that.
Well, a lot of my conferences, and I have a lot of opportunities, and it's actually kind of exciting. My field is sort of switching to online stuff, and now there's even more opportunities than there were before. But one of the things I wanted to ask was what your advice was for networking on Zoom. So I always, try to dress professionally and things like that, but what else can I do to help myself network?
Yeah.
While I'm at these online conferences or online talks.
Yeah, I think it first starts with a plan. Okay. Mm-hmm. So when you say these online conferences and talks, when you say Zoom, I just want to make sure I understand. You're participating in these things, or you're delivering the content?
I am not delivering the content.
Okay. How many people are on a Zoom?
I sign up for one of the seminars to give a talk, but most of the time I'm just watching and consuming.
Okay. And so you want to know how to connect to the viewers that are watching the same thing you are?
Yes, the viewers, but then also maybe sometimes the people who are giving the talk, if it's related to my field. Yeah.
How would you? So if I put you on a let's say a 10-day assignment, and I said I want you to find out how to contact these people that you wanted to reach, and I want you to reach out to them, and I want you to report back to me in 10 days, what would you do?
Okay, so talk to them outside of Zoom or just in Zoom?
No, I don't care. You're worried too much about in Zoom or outside Zoom. I'm saying if I give you a 10-day assignment and I said, go contact all these people in the math field that you want to reach out to, what would be your plan without me giving you any advice? What would be your plan?
I'd probably just email them.
Right. Okay. So, and then when you send an email, it's just you're hoping they respond. And I think that's your problem. So you don't want to just send an email. What you want to do is identify mutual connections that you might have to these people. So you're really playing you ever heard of the old game 7 Degrees, or is it 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon? I can't remember. Is it 6?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. So you got to play that game. So here's what I would tell you to do. So if you and I were doing a coaching session, and we are going to right now, but if it was with you in a room, I would get on a whiteboard, or I would make you get out a pad of paper, and I would make you write down or type on a document the people you want to connect with. I'd make you literally write their name out or type it, okay? And now then the second step would be, okay, go do some research online. We're talking LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you're on. Start searching for contacts that you have that are mutual, okay? And then you're looking at, well, how good of a relationship do I have with that mutual connection? If you don't have a relationship at all, it's just kind of a loose thing, then I'd go, okay, that's not a high value contact. But you're looking for high value contact where there is a legitimate relationship that you have that is a mutual relationship with those people. You tracking with me so far?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then you're identifying maybe other places that you might have in common, and that's how you find more people. So you've got your memory just right out of your head. Then you're doing some deeper research on social media and everything else. So now you've got a real web of connections that you're building, which you're going to read about that in my book. You're not there yet, okay? And so you can skip forward to the chapter on the web of connections. It's in the practices section. But you're building this thing out. I would make you do it. And all of a sudden you'd go, oh, I got something happening over here. And so what you would do is you would call or FaceTime with the person you have a real relationship with. You're saying, look, I'm trying to make a connection to person X. I'm also looking to make a connection with person Y, and you've got the connection. Would you be willing to make an introduction and ask them to do a Zoom call with me? Or a month or two from now, when we all feel comfortable having coffee, we'll do it. Whatever. But that's how you go about doing it. You've just got to reach out to mutual relationships so that you're not just sending this email and they don't know you. Because then they just got an email and they're like, I have limited time in my day. I don't know how much I want to connect with somebody that I have no connection to. But if you've got a mutual connection who says, hey, let me tell you about Danica. She's amazing. How I know Danica. And she'd love to connect with you. And then you need to have your reason why you want to connect. And that person does the setup for you. Okay? And so then whether it's Zoom, FaceTime, or a phone call, or an email chain back and forth, then you've been introduced. And so you've got a much better opportunity to get their time. And then you want to make the most of the time. You want to be prepared with your questions. You want to thank them like crazy for spending their time with you. And you want to be humble and listen and take all of the insight and ask them, hey, if you're comfortable, who are some people you think I need to connect with in the future? That's your game plan. You got it?
Yeah, that's awesome.
You got it. And you'll do it. And you will absolutely see results from that. Okay? So skip ahead. I'm okay with anybody skipping around the proximity principle, Joe, if they want to. But I'd get to that chapter on web of connections coming right out of this phone call. And that's going to set you up really beautifully to start making meaningful connections. Well, my time is almost up, but before I let you go, I want you to know that you matter and you have what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.